Hello and welcome to Stream Tabulous. I've been away because I haven't been well. I will be trying to get some content up when I can. I have another doctor's appointment tomorrow and trying to get things sorted out. But today I want to talk to you about a tech review, and that is on webcam video footage. Webcams aren't exactly the best footage, and if you want something decent on a webcam, you've got to pay ridiculous amounts of money, where to the point you're better off going out and buying a digital SLR camera, in my opinion. And that's the other thing. Most YouTubers, streamers, Twitchers and whatnot out there are using digital SLR cameras, and they're using HDMI capture cards in their systems to get that high quality footage that you'd expect of professional videos. Now, there's a lot of YouTubers out there that have done reviews on mobile phones, and when they've done that, they're often using apps, and those apps are very poor quality. They're like 640 for the resolution, unless you pay for the app, and then you can get 1080p, and at that point you start to see lagging issues, out of sync issues, compression artifact issues, because they are compressing that footage to get it through. Some of them boast that they can do it through a USB cable to the PC, and that becomes an issue itself, because then you need to install drivers to actually support your mobile phone. There's a lot of issues in that. You need to have other drivers and enable developer mode on your phone to try to get it to work. I've been down the rabbit hole and have had no success, and they're paid apps, which aren't exactly cheap either. So, there's the whole money matter of how much you're willing to pay and how do you get into it. Now, as you can see, this is pretty decent quality, and I am actually using a mobile phone, but I've found another way to do it, and that is to use a HDMI capture device, but a USB 2 one. Now, I paid $20 for the USB capture device, which I'll show you in a moment. But you can pick them up on AliExpress, on eBay, on Amazon for under $10. In fact, I have one on order at the moment for my old Note 4, which I would like to try to use instead of my LG V30, and I paid $6 for it. Then all you need is a HDMI cable, and if your phone supports it, there's USB-C type, which is an alternative HDMI out, and then there is, I think it's called MHL, which is another form of USB to HDMI. But some phones I've discovered and some tablets don't actually support it because they're not USB 3 and they just haven't implemented the features. So you will have to find out if your phone actually supports that output. A lot of phones do, which is the good news, especially a lot of the Samsung phones. You just have to download an app that's, I think it's called MHL Checker, and let's have a look here, is it MHL Checker? Okay, yeah, we have MHL Checker, and then we have Check for USB-C type video. Now, let's see if we can get that up there. It's not exactly wanting to have the best display in the world. A lot better than a webcam, though. So there's just two apps on the App Store. You can put those in. You just hit check, and it will tell you if your phone supports it. And then if it supports it, then it's just a matter of going out and buying the actual little device that you need. So first of all, let's go to the intro, and then we'll talk about what you need and how cheap it actually is, because believe me, it is very, very cheap to do. So let's get on with the show. Okay, welcome back. So let's have a look here. Let's get out of the way there so we can actually see that. So what we're looking at here is we're looking at an HDMI cable, and I did pick up a new one. Didn't want to wait for one off AliExpress or Amazon or something like that, where you can pick them up for peanuts, literally. So that will be the first thing you'll need. You'll need a HDMI cable, and then we want this. This is a USB HDMI capture card. Now, it was only a couple of months ago where to pick up one of these, it was going to cost you $100. I was actually looking at one for just over $100, which was this exact same type. But recently, they have plummeted in price, and I paid $20 for this one, even though it's $23. They gave me a bit of a discount of $3. But you can get these on AliExpress for $6. As I said, I have one on order at the moment from AliExpress for $6. You can't go wrong with that price, so they are very, very cheap to actually get. And there's a lot of YouTubers which have done reviews on these, and they're blown away by the quality and the latency of them. And I definitely recommend it. But what you want to make sure is when you're getting one is... right here we have HDMI resolution support. This one supports 4K, and then it's output resolution, so it's going to take a 4K image and convert it to 1080p, and then it's going to put that up on your screen. Okay, so that's important. If it's only supports a 1080 in, you might not have any luck getting it to support your device, because your device would have to be a 1080p output to receive the 1080p to display it. Which was a problem a few years ago. So just make sure that it supports resolutions and then it downscales. So that is your HDMI capture there. Then we have this. This plugs into your mobile phone. For my case, for the LG V30, it is a USB-C type, or Type-C to HDMI. On my old Note 4, it's an MHL connection, which is a different type of technology. Simply put, this one here doesn't have the bandwidth, so it will put out only 1080p once it's connected, and it will only charge and put out a HDMI signal. Where the Type-C, you can actually put a mouse on it, which I actually have a mouse on it to play with the settings. And you have the power to charge it while it's recording, and then you have your HDMI out, which means this will not go flat while I'm running it because it's actually on charge. I've tested it thoroughly, it does not heat up, and it runs absolutely perfect. So 3 things. You need this, you need the HDMI capture, and then you need a HDMI cable. Now, I paid $47 locally just to get the warranty in case I had any problems, so I could take them back if needed be. But I have them on order also on AliExpress at the moment, and it's $10 for all of it on AliExpress in Australian dollars, which means you can get these in American dollars a lot cheaper than what I've actually paid. And you can see the quality now of what we're actually getting. The only other thing that you may want to know is how to set it up. Now, this is what is running right now. All I've done is I've gone out and I have a bunch of these floating around because I do like a bit of photography, and I like putting my mobile phone on the tripod to record some family things. So we just have this. This is designed to go onto a tripod and hold the mobile phone, so you can see that there in the actual image, right, should have put it behind, right there, okay. I have it on a, this is actually just a light stand for a ring light, which I have it on, and then I have a clamp connector that you can see there on the side of it, and then from the clamp connector you can see that I actually have the little dongle that plugs into the phone just sitting there. That takes the weight off the USB, so I'm not going to damage my USB by doing it like this because there's no heavy weight pulling down on it. And then I just have an old mouse plugged in as well, so I can actually control the features. I will show you how to actually access those features, and we'll talk about more of that. and I'll cut through, and this video I'm actually going to, I'm not very good at editing, but I'm going to cut it and try to do my best, so hold with me there. Some of the footage was shot days ago when I actually put all this together, so you'll see what the raw quality looks like, and that you can get better quality than what you're actually seeing here. Because I am running a green screen, and the green screen that I've chosen for the background is so white, I've gone through and I've played with the color settings for me with OBS to blend myself in that little bit more, which means I do lose a little bit of detail. But with the right lighting, this quality is almost on par with digital SLR, which for something that you can do for $10 is mind-blowing. And I'll show you the apps, and well, there's only one app and it's free, and that is HD video camera app. I'm using that one because it's got a lot of the SLR features in it, where I can manually set the focus, I can do color adjustments, whatever I need to do, play with it to get that quality to just where it needs to be. So that's a free app. The good thing about that app is you can hide a lot of the on-screen overlay for that GUI interface, which means once you've set it up, you've got a crisp, clean video, like you would with a digital SLR camera or a high-quality webcam, and you're paying practically just peanuts, just so cheap to do. And I've not actually seen a YouTuber, I searched if anyone has done this prior to see how they've done it and the quality and what their outcome was, and I was unable to find it, which was surprising. This has no latency. Its quality isn't compressed. It is just absolutely mind-blowing with what you can do with some cheap parts. And like I said, these parts were not cheap a couple of months ago, but it's changed to where the market has been flooded with these HDMI capture USB 2 devices. And so we'll talk more about it. I'm going to cut the video and I'll splice it together the best I can, and you'll see some of the journey with me of how we got to here. Okay, so I've gone through and I've set up 3 scenes. First is the camera itself, and then I have gone through and I've set up another scene. So I have HDMI camera, which I've added the camera, and then I have camera phone, which is adding that scene, but using that scene just to crop, do nothing else but correct the aspect ratio. And I've still got to play with the aspect ratio. I've still got on 4.3. I haven't actually done the, adjusted the sides to taper him in a little bit more to give a bit of a distortion to correct the output of the mismatch. Now you can see I've got the green screen on, and I've cropped that to bring it in, so that's why the hands are off. But this just shows you the quality of the camera on the phone using the HDMI cable and the converter from the phone to the HDMI. Then I created, of course, the other scene, which I've just labeled it as full screen HDMI camera. And just to give you an idea of how much of a difference a quality camera is to the Nexico camera, for example, and what sort of quality you can expect to, say, a digital SLR camera that a lot of the big streamers use, and how you can get that using a lot cheaper equipment, hardwired, without having to worry about audio sync issues and so forth. Now, on that, the box that I've shown the phone to HDMI out, you've got the 2 USB ports on there. So you've got a USB-C in, which is your power, and then you have a standard USB port on there, which you can plug something in. You can plug a hub into it if you want, then you can have a keyboard and mouse. So I do have a mouse in it because, of course, I'm using the back camera for the highest quality, and then that allows you to actually use that mouse to, say, I've clicked on my face, for example, using the mouse to focus on my stubble, which is the most amount of detail that you're going to get is the fine hairs, opposed to, say, skin. So by clicking on my facial hair, it has focused it very, very sharply. And I have, like I said, I played with the filters, so I've done the color, I've done the sharpness. And this is the result that you get. People with digital SR do the same thing. They go through and they do the color saturations and all that, and they play with it. You do it with a cheap webcam as well. But it's the quality, and the quality to do full screen videos is just not there with a webcam, so that's why I'm using the phone. I have enabled torch mode. I'm using HD camera app on Android, and I've put the torch on, so I'm currently blinding myself at the moment. That's simply because the little mini tripod that I'm using that I showed, it normally has a little ring light that sits on top of it, and that's one of my lightings to help light up the face that I'd use. And yeah, with that off at the moment, if I go through and I click that lighting off, yeah, that's yeah, a little bit different. So I'll go through and I'll just I'll come down to HDMI, all these, and I've done the color source is green. I've applied the filter of the chroma key to remove just the green screen itself, which gives this. Now, looks black because the chroma key is on, but when you go through and you add it to your final scene, it goes green again, and you have to like set it up. So that's where we've gone on the final scene, which is this one here. But as you can see, I'm actually able to use the mouse to just come through, and I don't know if it's capturing the mouse here, and I can click on myself until I get that focus that I'm actually looking for. Yep, it's like that. Give it a second, that'll disappear. And yeah, so that's with the light off on the camera. So I could leave it like this and come through and remove the reds more underneath the color saturation of the filters for OBS. But this gives you a great idea of where we're heading for that final result to do full screen videos. So yeah, there you go. So I hope you enjoyed this overview and this different method of getting high quality video for your stream or your videos that you want to do. So there we go. Okay, so I wanted to show you how this is set up in OBS. I'm still playing with all the colors, the saturation, the focus to find that balance. You've seen a couple of moments ago in the video of the raw footage with just the light on off the camera and its color. That is the most accurate color you'll get, but I don't want to be blinded by the light on the camera whilst I'm actually doing my recordings. So I've opted for just the 3 cheap ring lights, and they're all the way down at the moment. I've dimmed every single one of them, and you know, normally they'd recommend, you know, dim, 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 and have one bright, but I got rather, you know, shiny skin, and, you know, I don't want that white spot there. Like if we turn it up, you start to get blinded out there, and yeah, don't exactly want to blind people with that. So I'll turn it all the way down and put it up 1 just for that little bit of a difference. So yeah, so OBS setup, let's show you here. We've got the camera of the HDMI input here, so we'll just click that. Okay, this is the camera. Now, all it is the HDMI in. So we'll come over here. So that's it. There's nothing fancy. I have it on 60 frames per second. The device says it's only 30, but it seems to support 60, and it stopped a audio sync issue completely. So that's that. Now, this app is HD video camera app on the Android store. Fantastic app. It remembers all these settings here. So I've gone through and I've manually set up the focus to 60% to try to get as much detail as I can to say the fine details of the hair, the facial hair and so forth. Some people like to have it a bit blurry just to hide age lines and whatnot. I prefer to have it as accurate as possible. So I've gone through and I've set up the brightness, the contrast. You can, whoop, click that off. Right click, left click on the mouse. It's hard to remember. The mouse is not left click. For Android it is right click. So I've got a cheap old mouse that I'm using at the moment. So yeah, so it would come through and you can adjust things like your f-stop and so forth. So we'll bring that back to there. I think that's quite good. Okay, and so every time I load it up I just have to hit that and that hides it. And then what I've done is I have this copied in another one and I've just cropped it, which I'll show you. So I have another scene set up which I've added the where is it, mirrored source of the scene here. Okay, and that's my camera. And if we come under here, if I turn the chroma key off, that's my green screen. I'll turn the background off. So I've cropped it to get rid of the writing on the screen. Okay, and that's what we get. So I'm using the filters on that. I have, I don't think that one's been used, but yep. So I'll turn that back on. So that's the green screen, so it's the chroma key. I use a green felt for my, I use green felt for my green screen. If you use polyesters or cotton, which is normally what a green screen is made of, you get a lot of light reflection on it. Really hard to use in a dim lit room, which this is a dim lit room. The felt, because of the way that texture is on the fabric, it's more even tones across it, and even with the like the little patchings and light bleed through from behind and so forth, and even the little wrinkles, it's not noticeable when you actually run your filter. So turn the chroma on and then we get an invisible background. And then what we've done is we've added a color source, and that's just green, to give us a solid green screen. And then we go to our main screen now and we just add our source, but this time when we add the source, we add it from the green screen source, so that doesn't have a background to it. So we drop that off, that's what you get. I've cloned myself to get that little blur that's happening just here. Okay, so nice and easy. Put my bookcases back. Don't mind the little clip just there on my green screen. It's not quite set up, like I said, I'm just playing with it at the moment. I'm working on those colours. I'm trying to find that balance for what's going to look good on multiple devices. So I've done some colour adjustments there. I've added some sharpness just to make it pop that little bit more. So that's OBS, and that's how to set it up. Now, I do want to run the old Note 4, which is a lower resolution camera. It's not as good as this one. I don't know how it will go. I might end up just using the LG and just doing my intros and then cutting it into the OBS recordings where I'm doing the videos. I did go onto AliExpress and I've ordered the MHL, I think it is, for the video out. Not USB-C type, it's a USB-A type, to turn that signal into HDMI. Now that doesn't have a USB input. It's got USB power to charge, but it doesn't have USB input, so I can't have a mouse on this because it's not the same as USB-C, so it doesn't allow that data traffic transfer back and forth and have as much bandwidth. So yeah, the HD video camera does remember all the settings, so it may work. Just plug it in. That's the other thing, you can just plug this in and it comes straight up. You don't have to go in and reset it up every single time. It literally just plug and play. As soon as you plug it in, it's up on the screen. As soon as you unplug it, it disappears. So that's fantastic. It's just really easy to do, really easy to use, and just fantastic quality compared to the webcam, especially when I want to do a full screen sort of intro and outros and interact a bit more, especially if I'm talking about some sort of product where I want it on a full screen as well, or talking about apps or whatever I'm doing. This is the way to go. So on AliExpress I've ordered the HDMI capture card, which cost me $6, and I've ordered the out for this, which was like $2.50. So as I said, you can get the USB-C one for about the same price, a little bit more. So again, I'm going to reiterate that it's under $10, around the $10 mark, that you can do this and get quality which is nearly as good as a digital SLR camera, in my opinion. Certainly better than a webcam. And yeah, I mean, it's great. I mean, I don't have to worry about time. It's charging while it's running. It's literally not using any battery, which is just fantastic. Quality's great. Still playing with those colors, trying to find that balance across the board for multiple devices. So yeah, I mean, that's it. So this is just showing you the OBS and having a bit of a talk about it. And yeah, hopefully that helps you guys out. And yeah, so as I said, with the light on the phone, you do get the more accurate colors, but I didn't want to be blinded by that, so I'm running the, just the cheap ring lights and trying to find that balance at the moment. So I'd probably have a little play with it more and see where I end up. Okay, so to wrap up, that's how to capture your phone through the HDMI capture, and doing it very cheaply and getting quality which in my opinion is up there, very close to the digital SLR. You can get better quality if you've got more lighting. You can get it, as you've seen when I turn the light on the camera, pretty much identical to an SLR camera, where it'd be very hard to pick the difference. So my thoughts personally is this is the way to go, and I'll be using it moving forward. So thank you for hanging around and watching the video. It'd be greatly appreciated if you like, subscribe and get the bell on. And I will see you in the next video shortly, now that I've got this set up and running to where I need it to be. So thank you for watching the video. Like the video if you think it's going to help you out, or if it's going to help someone else out, or you believe that it will help someone else out. Just like the video if you thought it was generally a good topic to discuss on setting up YouTube and how to do it on cheap to get great quality video. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for sticking around to the end and watching my video. If you like my content, you like my channel, it'd really help out if you like, subscribe and get the bell on for notifications. The YouTube algorithm is really hard, and with the more likes and the more subscriptions, it will go a long way to support my channel and be greatly appreciated. So thank you, and I will see you in the next video.